Good morning, everyone. This is Rachel live from Kalkine Studios, and you're watching The Opening Bell, a show where we bring you the Australian market and how it opens in the trading session and the associated market drivers. So let's get started. The Australian share market did open higher this morning. That's as Wall Street indices registered record closing highs. A gauge of global equity markets closed at a record high, and the US Treasury yields held above the 5-month trough touched last week. That's as market participants kept a close eye on signs on whether the new Delta variant of the coronavirus could slow down economic growth. While looking at the Australian market open trades, resources stocks extended their gains following yesterday's strong performance. Pilbara Minerals, IGO, Plenti Global and Lynas, all their shares jumped up. Shares in Nearmap also jumped on exceeding annual contract value guidance for the financial year 2021. PolyNovo shares also rose on reporting growing revenue momentum. On the flip side, Platinum Asset, WiseTech Global and Crown Resorts all traded in the red territory. Next, before we jump to the ASX charter for today in detail, let us look at the overnight US market performance. Wall Street's main indices closed at record highs on Monday, with the Nasdaq Composite and the S&P 500 hitting all-time highs. The Dow Jones ended the session 0.36% higher, while the S&P 500 gained 0.35%. The Nasdaq added 0.21%. Investors are keenly waiting for the start of the second quarter earnings season in the US to predict the next leg of the equity market. Earnings season kicks off with JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs and PepsiCo, Citigroup and Wells Fargo among those reporting. And investors will also take into consideration the US inflation data on consumer and producer prices, along with the comments from the Federal Reserve's Chair Jerome Powell. Investors are waiting for Powell's comments this week amid the People's Bank of China's move last week to release up to $154 billion for banks to support the economic recovery of the country. US Treasury yields eased a bit but held above 5-month lows ahead of a Treasury sale of $120 billion in new coupon-bearing supply. The benchmark 10-year note yields were last traded at 1.3712% on Monday. Next, moving on to the currency space, safe haven US dollar ticked up on Monday on worries around the pandemic and its potential to derail economic growth. The dollar index was up 0.1%. Now it's time for a very short break, but stay tuned. I'll be back with trending news updates for the Australian share market very soon.
Property by Kalkine. Looking for a dream home? Well, that may sound easy, but it isn't. And from looking for a property that is the right fit for you in terms of cost and other factors, to zeroing down on the right mortgage plan, there are various aspects to consider. And for the latest slowdown in the property market, tune in on Kalkine TV with me, Sage. I will give the latest updates on the property market as well as real estate stocks to help you make the right decision. Keep watching Property with Kalkine.
Welcome back. This is Rachel, your host, live from Kalkine Studios, and you're watching The Opening Bell. Now that we've taken a glimpse of the US market performance, let us look at some major newsmakers in the Australian share market today. To begin with, technology-led consumer lending and investment business Plenti Global shares soared on delivering a strong June quarter. The company reported loan originations in the June quarter of $216.4 million, 260% above the prior corresponding period, while the company's loan portfolio increased to $757 million in the June quarter. Next stock that deserves closer attention is medical device manufacturer PolyNovo. Their shares jumped on reporting growing revenue momentum. The company is seeing increased revenue in its major markets despite limited access to US hospitals and surgeons due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The company's US operations reported that more than 50% of hospitals are re-engaging for business. Next up, aerial mapping and imaging company Nearmap shares skyrocketed on exceeding annual contract value guidance for financial year 2021. The company upgraded its guidance for the group ACV portfolio to end the period at $133.8 million. That's exceeding its recently upgraded guidance of $128 million to $132 million. This represents 26% growth on the prior corresponding period. Moving on to the next stock making headlines today, almond player Select Harvesters remained under the spotlight on demand boost. Record almond shipments and the worsening Californian drought have led to a recent price appreciation. Also, demand for almonds, both in their natural form and as a value-added food ingredient in products such as plant-based milks and yogurts, continues to grow. Moving on now, owner of online automotive portals iCar Asia shares inched higher after a $243 million takeover bid. The company's received a 55% share conditional takeover offer from Carsome Group. Discussions are also ongoing with US autos giant Autohome Inc., which offered a 50 cents per share takeover offer back in October 2020. Now it's time for another short break, but stay tuned. I'll be back very soon.
Crypto talk by Kalkine. The crypto market has been red hot given the Bitcoin rally since the past year. And now the most famous cryptocurrency has got competitors, Dogecoin and Ethereum. If the crypto market excites you, tune in with me, Sage, to know the latest developments about the existing digital currencies and the new ones that are joining the race. I'll help you understand the opportunities and the risks the crypto market has in store for you. For all the digital currency related developments, continue watching Crypto Talk by Kalkine.
And welcome back. This is Rachel, your host, live from Kalkine Studios, and you're watching The Opening Bell. Moving on, let us glance through the ASX sectoral charter. Australian energy majors such as AGL Energy, Origin Energy and Oil Search are currently trading in the red zone due to an oil price downtick. On Monday, crude oil prices witnessed some selling pressure as concerns about slowing global economic growth outweighed the prospect of tightening crude oil supply, as talks among OPEC Plus members to raise output in the near future stalled. Brent crude for September fell 0.6% per barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude for August was down 0.7%. Let us move on now to the miners space. Heavyweight miners, the BHP Group, Rio Tinto and Fortescue Metals trading in the green zone so far today. On Monday, Shanghai Steel Futures extended their rally, hitting an 8-week high on the backdrop of monetary policy easing measures in China. This helped to fade away concerns about output curbs in the world's top steel producer. The iron ore prices for the September futures contract on Dalian Commodity Exchange also inched higher. Meanwhile, copper prices slid on concerns due to the demand outlook in China, where economic recovery is appearing to be decelerating, while rising inventories reinforce negative sentiment. The benchmark copper on the London Metal Exchange was down 1%. However, ASX-listed copper players Oz Minerals and Sapphire Resources are currently trading in green territory during early trading hours today. Over to the yellow metal space now, and shares in Evolution Mining have dipped, but Ramelius Resources and Gold Road Resources have seen their shares edge higher amid a gold price downtick. Gold prices fell on Monday on the back of a stronger US dollar as market participants are cautiously waiting for the US inflation data, which could have an impact on the Fed's timeline for easing its bond buying. Well, that's all for now. I'm Rachel signing off. We'll be back bringing more stock updates in our upcoming shows throughout the day. Stay tuned to Kalkine TV for more live updates across the economy, markets and sectors. I'm Rachel signing off for now.